when MMA meets NBA. The Golden State Warriors are in a slump, and they desperately need Draymond Green to step up this season. But Green seems more interested in MMA than in dominating the NBA. He's been throwing punches at teammates, stomping on opponents, and even choking players like Gobert. It's like he's playing a different game altogether. What's wild is that Green doesn't seem fazed by ejections. Instead, he's out there dancing around and waving his arms like he's in a wrestling ring, soaking up the chaos he's causing. How much is this circus act hurting the Warriors? Can Green stop the drama and go back to being the player the Warriors really need? Let's find out. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more NBA content. The Golden State Warriors, usually known for their amazing performance, are going through a tough time this season. Steve Kerr and his team, who have won the NBA championship 4 times, are dealing with a big problem they haven't faced since they first won in 2015. And a big part of the issue is Draymond Green. He's been causing a lot of trouble with his unpredictable actions, and it's making him miss important games. A few weeks back, when the Warriors faced off against the Phoenix Suns in the third quarter, things got intense between Draymond Green and Jusuf Nurkic. Green ended up swiping Nurkic's face, and although officials noticed Nurkic holding on to Green a bit, they decided it was unnecessary contact and ejected Green from the game. The next day, the NBA dropped a bombshell, suspending Green indefinitely. This was his 19th ejection, second only to Rasheed Wallace. This suspension could actually be a good thing for the 4-time NBA champion if he uses the time wisely. But this isn't the first time Draymond Green has caused trouble this year. Just a month ago, he got a 5-game punishment for putting Rudy Gobert in a chokehold. In the previous playoffs, he had to sit out a game for stomping on Domantas Sabonis. And these are just a couple of incidents in a long list of outbursts over the past year. The NBA tried to set him straight each time, pointing out that his repeated inappropriate behavior had consequences. But Green's response was short-lived remorse followed by a dismissive attitude when asked if he would change. Back when the Warriors were stacked with talent, depth, and experienced players, they could handle some of Green's crazy moments. But as time passed, things changed. In 2019, their super successful time ended when Kevin Durant left after 3 seasons. Money problems and issues with the salary cap made it hard to get really good role players. Important players like Andre Iguodala and Sean Livingston retired. Even though they had 3 chances to pick great players in the drafts of 2020 and 2021, they struggled to find a new star. The top pick, James Wiseman, who was chosen 2nd overall in 2020, only played 60 games for Golden State before being traded. Because they couldn't rebuild the team like champs, the Warriors ended up depending a lot on Curry, Green, and Klay Thompson, who are all getting pretty old. Curry is still a superstar, but Thompson has been kind of inconsistent and not great at defense. What about Green? Well, he can't stay on the court because he's more interested in throwing cheap shots than grabbing rebounds. When Green punched Jordan Poole in October 2022, it was a big deal for him and for a team trying to win championships while also helping younger players like Poole, Wiseman, Jonathan Kuminga, and Moses Moody grow. But instead of making Green face the consequences, the team quickly let him back in without missing any regular season games. They were desperate for toughness and thought that they could patch things up. Now, because they didn't deal with Green's issues 14 months ago, they're paying a bigger price for their desperation. But how important is Draymond Green to the current Warriors team? When Draymond Green stays on the basketball court without getting thrown out, the Golden State Warriors win more games, 7 out of 12 to be precise. But when he's not there or gets kicked out, they end up losing more, 5 out of 13 games. In those nail-biting games decided by 5 points or less in overtime, the Warriors are just 3-8. If someone like Green, who used to be a top defender, was always playing, maybe the Warriors could have won more of these games. In the games where Green got kicked out, the Warriors lost by 8 points, 3 points, and 3 points. It's not just about missing his skills, but also about the points they give away because of technical and flagrant fouls. A weird technical foul Green got in the game against the Sacramento Kings, which they lost by just 1 point, is a prime example. Coach Steve Kerr had to take Green out of the game to calm him down. And you know what happened? Sacramento scored a bunch of points, going on a 12-3 run, or 13-3 if you count the technical free throw, while he was off the court. Also, on that night against the Phoenix Suns, the Warriors lineup was playing well until Green got ejected, and that cost them 2 free throws and possession to Phoenix. This shows that Green is undoubtedly a top player, but does that mean the Warriors should continue condoning his irrational behavior on the court? Not at all. They should actually start preparing for life without Green. On the outside, it might seem like the Warriors aren't doing well without Green, but if we really look at the numbers, it tells a different story. Sure, he does some good stuff. He's great at connecting plays on offense, setting screens, and making plays when teams try to double-team Stephen Curry. Surprisingly, he's also shooting threes pretty well this season. But when you look at the numbers, things get interesting. The Warriors do better without Green on the court. They score 3.3 points more per 100 possessions when he's not playing. On the defensive side, it's a bit of a mess when Green is out there. With him, they give up a lot of points, 119.8 per 100 possessions, like a team with a bad defense. Without him, it's better, just 112.1 points per 100 possessions, or like a top 10 defensive team. What's really surprising is Green's defense around the rim. Last season, when he was nearby, players shot way worse, 11.5 percentage points worse to be exact. This season, it's not as good. They're only shooting 8.8 percentage points worse. Green is still doing some good things, like leading the NBA in charges taken per game. But even with his defensive efforts, something seems off. Players are shooting better than usual when he's around, 7.8 percentage points better this season. The Warriors used to defend him more because he was a star on both offense and defense. But now, with the team struggling and the players getting older, they can't afford his mistakes. It's a tough call for Coach Kerr and the Warriors in this challenging time. So, the idea that the Warriors do worse without Green is more about the team's mindset, but the numbers actually show that the team performs much better without Green. Plus, Green is getting older, and that's not helping. So, should they consider trading Green? That could be a good choice for the Warriors, but it's tough to trade Green. He has a big 4-year, $100 million contract, and right now, his trade value is really low. Also, not many teams would want a player known for MMA moves on their squad. Actually, no one would. Green is still one of the best defenders in the NBA, but he isn't the quarterback we once knew him to be for the Warriors, calling out plays and organizing everyone. So something has to change. Green has to let go of his MMA traits and stick to basketball. If not, then his case will be like that of Ja Morant's gun-flashing saga. The NBA needs to make sure Green really proves he can play without causing drama. Green shouldn't just come back to the court right away. He should have to sit out for a long time and show everyone that he is ready to change. This is something the Warriors should have done a while ago, but they thought they were handling him well enough to sustain their dynasty. But it turns out they were actually making things worse by not dealing with Green's issues. It's a big mistake, and now it's time to do something about it. What's your take on how the Warriors can deal with this Draymond Green situation? Do you think Green is ever going to change? Share your thoughts in the comments below. So if you enjoyed this video, you should watch these 2 videos.